So good evening all. This is Ramya, Executive Nutritionist from Cloud9 Hospital, OMR, Chennai. So today I'll be taking a session on postnatal nutrition and I shall now present the PPT. So yes, so today's session is about the postnatal nutrition. So why postnatal nutrition is very important? It really matters now. So before starting the session, I would request you all to have a good internet connection. Make sure that you're using either earphones or headphones for the better quality. You can drop in your question in the comment box, which will be answered at the end of the session. And yes, to begin with. So the first thing is the 1000 days window period. This 1000 days is very important because it starts from the day of the conception until the baby turns 2 years of old. It is very important in regards with the nutrition as a rapid development happens during this time for the baby. So that is why this is very important. So this 1000 days period is divided into 3 sectors. So first thing is like during pregnancy. So just 0 to 9 months during pregnancy, from the day of conception until pregnancy. Second thing is during your breastfeeding period. So until the baby is born and when it turns 6 months old, that is a very crucial breastfeeding period. That also includes in this timeline. Second thing is during 6 to 12 months, where we introduce solids foods. And next thing is until the baby turns 2 years of age. So this is the 1000 days period. And next, so this first 1000 days is termed as a golden 1000 days. The reason behind this period, the physical and the mental development is rapid during this timeline. So that is why it is very, very important. So this pregnancy period includes 270 days. And the next 365 days until the baby turns 1 year old, and again plus 365 days. So altogether, this is again 1000 days. So adequate nutrition, a good quality, healthy nutrition has to be taken this time. And next, exclusive breastfeeding. So why exclusive breastfeeding is being promoted? The reason behind this, the baby's gut can only digest the breast milk. So no pre-lactal feeds or any other food should not be introduced during this period. So you should not give water or any other thing until the baby turns 6 months old. And next, this is the types and the composition of the breast milk. So the breast milk actually, there are 3 types. First thing is colostrum, next is the transitional milk, and next is the mature milk. The colostrum is actually termed as a liquid gold. The reason behind is the antibodies that is present in the colostrum. It helps in preventing, many diseases that affects the baby. Okay, and this colostrum, it appears to be in thick and yellowish colors, and it is produced during first, 3 to 5 days after pregnancy. And next is the transitional milk. This transitional milk appears to be in a watery kind of a texture, and this is produced after 5 days of breastfeeding. And next, the third is the mature milk, which is a white, creamy color. It is produced after 10 to 15 days of breastfeeding. So these are the 3 types of breast milk that are being produced by the mother. And next, the table below here, it shows the composition of the milk that is present in the colostrum, transitional milk, and the mature milk. So as you can see, the colostrum contains more protein and carbohydrate, which is very much necessary for during the initial stage for the newborn baby. And next is the transition and the mature milk, which shows that the fat and the carbohydrate composition of milk. The reason behind this, after this stage, the baby needs, it needs to weight gain, adiposity has to be increased. So for that account, the composition varies over here. And next, The nutrition that has been taken during this lactation period is what is going to reflect in the milk. So whatever you're eating is going to reflect in the milk. So a proper healthy nutrition has to be taken. And the breast milk composition includes majorly water, and then the proteins, it includes carbohydrates and various fats present. It has vitamins and minerals. Very importantly, as I have told, it is the antibodies. Antibodies are very, very important, which contains the immunoglobulins. It helps in preventing the baby from many pathological diseases, gut-related disease, and every other thing. And next is human milk oligosaccharide. This human milk oligosaccharide is very peculiar because this human milk oligosaccharide cannot be replicated. It cannot be given in any other form. It can be produced only by the mother, and it can be given to the baby only through the breast milk. Right. So this HMO, that is human milk oligosaccharide, it helps in developing a healthy bacteria in the baby's gut so that the baby's gut immune system gets improved. So that is why exclusive breastfeeding is promoted. That the reason is only after that, you can introduce the solids. So that is why this is very, very important. And it also contains hormones. Hormones like growth factor hormones, leptin, ghrelin. So these kinds of hormones are present in the breast milk, which helps in the growth and also growth immune and also other factors as well. So what are the benefits of breastfeeding as a mother? So as a mother, it actually reduces the risk of post-delivery bleeding and anemia, because post-delivery profuse bleeding could happen. So this breastfeeding actually helps in reducing the risk of that. And next, it is actually a natural contraception. It gives a window period of 6 months, but it cannot be reliable as well. And the third thing is it protects a mother against the breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and osteoporosis. So these are the common things that a breastfeeding mother can get benefits. And the fourth thing, it helps to reduce weight as well, because during lactation, you're producing the milk which needs extra calories. So your burning is doing some extra load of work. So some calories are burned. On that account, you will be losing your weight. And next, it helps in good emotional bonding with your baby. You get a good connect and good bond with the baby through this breastfeeding experience. And it helps in getting the uterus to the original size. So it does not happen immediately. It takes at least 6 weeks of time. As and when you continue with the breastfeeding, it helps, the uterus comes back to its normal size. And next thing is, it helps in reducing the risk of postpartum depression. So as a new mother, postpartum depression could happen. So this breastfeeding actually reduces the risk of it. And next is the nutrition part. So nutrition plays a very, very vital role during this lactation. So we need to take adequate amount of water. We have to hydrate ourselves all through the day. We have to include the right kind of nutrients that includes vitamin C, folate, protein, fat, calcium, and iron. So this slide actually represents the recommended dietary allowances. That is the right amount of energy, protein, and all other nutrients that has to be taken at every category, that is at every time period. First thing, as an adult woman, it has been mentioned as 2,200 calories. If you can see, the energy demand is more during pregnancy, and it is even more during the lactation. So definitely you should not go for any calorie restriction. You should not restrict the intake of food. So it doesn't matter that you have to be eating the quantity more, also the quality matters over here. And next thing is definitely adequate protein needed to be taken, and the right micronutrients and vitamins and minerals needed to be taken. Next is hydration. So why hydration as such is very important, because the breast milk as such, it contains majorly water. The major composition of breast milk is water. So that is why you need to hydrate yourself in a better way. So you need to take at least 4 liters of water, or like 4 liters of fluid throughout the day. maybe you can consider taking 2.5 to 3 liters as water. And the remaining 1 liter, you can, take it as a juices or like buttermilk, tender coconut water, anything like that. Soups can be taken. So all together, at least 4 liters of fluids has to be there throughout the day. All right. And next, during postnatal period, during breastfeeding, you might feel more fatigue. So make sure that you're not taking water at one go. You have to divide and eat. You have to divide and drink. So some people would, they directly take 1 liter of water in the morning as soon as they wake up. So that is not the right way to go. You have to divide and you have to take, like 1 glass, 1.5 glass, something like that. And next, healthy plate. So this is a very easy strategy which you can follow during the lactation period. So this concept, it's a very pretty healthy one. So take a 9-inch plate. So half of your plate should have vegetables and fruits. And the second half are again divided into 2 equal portions. So 1/4 should be the cereals and whole grains. And the next quarter has to be your protein. So if you make sure that it looks like, this healthy kind of a plate, that means you're taking adequate nutrition. That is what this means. You have to keep including, healthy, high quality protein that includes egg, lean meat can be included. You can also take legumes, proper whole grains and cereals has to be taken. Varieties of green leafy vegetables and varieties of other vegetables has to be definitely included. And also 1 to 2 servings of fruits per day really makes a great difference when it comes to postnatal period. Eat healthy while breastfeeding. That is very, very important. So make sure that you are taking small and frequent meals. It doesn't mean that you need, okay, I'm a lactating mother, so I have to take more quantity at one go. No, definitely that is not the case. You have to divide and eat because this actually improves in the metabolism as well. The overall metabolism also improves when we have small and frequent meals. And make sure whatever the quantity that we are taking should be enriched in quality. So that is very, very important. So next thing is again hydration. It has to be very much adequate. And you should not be feeding the baby while you're empty stomach. So that is also very important. And make sure that you're hydrating and then feeding the baby. It really helps with. And you have to take, a timely meals has to be taken. You should not skip your meals at all. There is, you should not compromise or you should not, juggle your work together and you're skipping meal. It doesn't make sense. So only when your stomach is full, that is only when there is the right nutrition in your body, then only the proper quality of breast milk can be given to the baby. And you have to ensure that you are taking, a healthy snacks as your mid-morning and evening. And also you can take it as a midnight snack as well. Because anyway, as a new mother, you will be feeding the baby frequently in the night. Every 2 hours, you'll be feeding the baby. So you might feel hungry and you should not be hungry. You should not feed the baby in empty stomach. So make sure that you are introducing some healthy snacks, fruits, or any, boiled legumes can be taken as a snacks, which are very healthy options. And yes, so you have to introduce a proper food groups in your every meal. So as I have shown the healthy plate, it has to be exactly in that way. So make sure the right quantity of vegetables are added, right servings of fruits are added. You have to make sure that you're adding the right portion of cereals and whole grains. All right, and the nutrition requirement is definitely more during this lactation. As I have showed you the recommended dietary allowances chart, it actually you need to take the extra calories on account of the breast milk supply as such. So you need to take the right amount of iron-rich foods. That is, your green leafy vegetables can be taken. You can take dry foods can be taken. So all these things have iron source in it, which helps in improving your iron stores. And balanced kind of a meal, a balanced plate has to be followed. So what are the foods that helps in boosting the milk supply? This really makes sense for every new mothers because at some or the other point, the mother might feel whether my breast milk supply is enough. Is it enough for my baby or not? Every mother can produce adequate amount of milk supply. You should not be stressed. That is the only way. You should be calm and happy while feeding the baby. And there are certain foods that you can include it on a regular basis, which helps in boosting the milk supply, but it doesn't mean that you have to overdo this. That is it. So first thing is spices, which includes taking garlic, fenugreek seeds, jeera, ajwain, and fennel seeds, and dry ginger. So these fenugreek seeds, you can just soak it in water. Almost 1 to 2 teaspoons of fenugreek seeds can be soaked in water, and you can have it along with the water. The garlic is very simple to go. You can just put the garlic along with the milk, and you can have it as a garlic milk. And next is dairy products and also the cereals. This dairy products includes milk and other milk products. And next is your oatmeal, broken wheat, ragi, red rice, sago. So all these food items helps in boosting the milk supply. So this is what we actually term it as galactobox. And next is protein. Protein and fat really, it matters a lot while you're breastfeeding the baby, because these nutrition is what is going to the baby as such. So you have to take adequate protein. As I have, quarter portion of your plate has to have some of the other protein in it. So you can keep including all your dal varieties, legume varieties can be added. And next, high quality protein that includes egg, fish, liver, chicken, mutton can be taken. When it comes to fish, make sure that the fish contains low mercury content, because in the recent days, mercury contamination is more in fishes. So it's better if we choose small variety fishes, which helps in reducing the mercury contamination. And you should also be including mixed nuts and dried fruits could also be included. And next, it's fats. Healthy fats has to be taken. So first, the healthy fat I would say is nuts and seeds. Next, you can go with the dried fruit laddus. You can make it as a laddu, which you can have it as a midnight snack, which is a very easy to go snacks. And the next thing is carbohydrate, under which ragi, oats, brown rice, sago, which I have already mentioned again. It comes over here. Definitely, one serving of green leafy vegetable has to be there in your daily diet. Okay, you will be taking iron and calcium supplements, but these green leafy vegetables, it actually has good amount of iron and calcium in it. And also it is a galactobacillus which helps in boosting your milk supply. So there is again no compromise that in avoiding these foods. Definitely these foods has to be there in your diet. And there are foods that you should be avoiding or restricting. So the first thing is, try not to go for any deep fried foods or any street foods. It's better to avoid them. And next, definitely when we are taking foods from outside, we do not know what are the things added to it. Artificial colors, artificial sweeteners will be added to it. It is really dangerous because, as I have told you, whatever you are eating is going to reflect in the breast milk. So it's better to take, each and every meal should be a nutritious one. So try not to overeat foods from outside. And you should not be taking high spicy foods, because this high spicy foods can cause colic pain for the baby. And we might not be aware of it. We might not know why the baby is crying. So taking high spicy foods might, affect the baby's gut, and the baby will have the colic pain. So you have to restrict on that. And try not to force yourself in reintroducing some foods which are actually allergic to you. Certain things can be, some people might be allergic to peanut or any other nuts. So it is a healthy one, but do not force yourself to, introducing during this period. Okay. And next is excessive caffeine. No coffee or caffeine can be taken unless and until it is in the limited quantity. Excessive caffeine is definitely not at all suggested, because evidences are showing that certain percentage of caffeine can be reflected in the breast milk. All right, and that can affect the baby's sleep. The baby will be restless and feeling more anxious and cranky. So try not to go with excess caffeine foods. And so this is how you have to be following. And next is weight loss guidelines. So try not to choose any kind of a weight loss protocol or weight loss program as such during your breastfeeding period. Because when it comes to weight loss, definitely the calories will be restricted. So when the calories are restricted, then the quality of milk will indefinitely be affected. So try not to go for any calorie restricted diet or anything until you finish the initial breast. And when you're planning for any weight loss after that, then you have to make sure that you're losing weight in a healthy way and you should not go for any crash diet. So losing 2 to 3 kgs per month, it is very much adequate. So you have to just restrict a calorie of 400 to 500. So that is the restricted, that is the maximum kind of a calorie restriction you can go for after 5 months. Because anyway, you will be continuing the breastfeeding. It's not that the breastfeeding is going to stop at 6 months. You will be continuing the breastfeeding, right? So that is why you have to restrict only 500 calories per day so that you reduce 2 to 3 kgs per month. And don't go for any fat diets. It's better to go with a healthy, balanced, a simple, restricted diet, but don't go for any fat diets. Because what happens, it highly affects the quality of the breast milk, and you might lose your weight, but again, weight rebounds could happen. So try not to go for any of these things. And definitely, postnatal exercise is very much important. So you can get a guidance from the physiotherapist. And next is the impact of drastic weight loss. So as I have told you earlier, so this will affect the milk supply. There will be a reduction of milk supply, and whatever the environmental contents, contaminants, and whatever that is present in the body, all the toxins will be released to your breast milk, and that will affect, indefinitely. So please do not go for any of these things. So baby's growth and everything will be affected and it will be disrupted. So there are some certain myths which we keep following even these days. So I would like to burst these myths. So first thing is, giving sugar water or any other thing before starting with the colostrum. Okay, this commonly happens everywhere. So that is definitely not at all advisable. We always say that sugar and salt should not be introduced to a baby until the baby turns 1 year old. So in that case, introducing sugar water, immediately after birth, it's definitely not at all advisable. Initially, colostrum has to be given. Colostrum, certain, people tend to, express the colostrum and discard it. So definitely that is again not recommended. Colostrum has to be given. And next is giving hot and cold foods might affect the baby or might affect the lactation. Definitely that is not the case. We also feel like taking citrus fruits or any foods, any certain fruits taking during lactation might cause cold to the baby. That is not the case. Only when the environment as such is affected, like only when there is a surrounding that has any infections, that is when the baby can catch cold, but not through the food that you're eating. So that is, there is no scientific evidence for that. Baby during the breast milk and during the breastfeeding period. So again, that is not at all suggested. And giving cow's milk, goat's milk, and donkey's milk, and that is also not at all suggested because the protein composition that is present in the mother's milk, that is the breast milk, and this cow's milk and goat's milk is very different. So baby's stomach cannot digest this animal milk. So definitely it should not be given during the breastfeeding. So it has to be actually, this cow's milk has to be introduced only after the baby turns 1 year old, not before that. And even there are many myths that has to be, we have to break them. So first thing is giving honey as well, because we also tend to give, as sugar water, honey is also given to the baby. Definitely that could be fatal, that can result in any fatal diseases for the baby because the bacteria that is present in the honey is called as Clostridium botulinum. So that it can cause, infant botulism and it could be fatal. So definitely such things should not be practiced at all. And giving gripe water for the indigestion and again giving those spices for the indigestion, it is not at all necessary. So only thing that you should be doing is make sure that you are not taking, high spicy food, and make sure that you're burping the baby. That is more than enough. And next thing is, eating ghee can strengthen the mother's bone density, and it helps in strengthening the joints. Definitely, that those things are not at all true. So, and also taking too much of caffeine, I told you, right? So, excessive caffeine should be restricted, but 1 or 2 cups of coffees can be taken. It's not that you have to avoid them. Only thing is, it should not be taken before breastfeeding the baby. Okay, this caffeine or the coffee, it has to be taken post breastfeeding. Okay, after finishing one feed, you can have it, because during those 2 hours of period, you get a 2 hours of timeline, right? So at that particular time, this caffeine can be metabolized. So you have to keep a limitation over there. And it's not necessary that you need to go for a bland foods during your lactation period. No, that should not be the case, and it's not at all necessary. You can include, any kind of a masalas that you wanted to take, but make sure that it is not too spicy, which you itself cannot tolerate. Okay, so that is the deal. And so you can always, you can send your questions in the window, and we will be answering the questions now. So please post your questions if you have any. And you will get a nutrition guide which will be posted online. You can download and you can utilize it. Thank you. So let me give some scenarios. I have seen mothers asking whether it is okay to take any citrus foods like amlas during my lactation period or not. It is absolutely fine. You can continue taking whatever the seasonal fruits that is available at your place. Locally available seasonal fruits can be absolutely taken. There are no restrictions. Taking mangoes or any other fruit, it doesn't matter. You can go ahead with it, but make sure that one or the other fruit is being introduced in your daily diet. These are these common questions that is being asked. And definitely taking too much spicy foods will cause the colic pain for the baby, and probably blood and stools can be seen when the mother takes high spicy foods. So that should be restricted. So there are also some certain common questions which is being asked is whether the non-veg foods can be introduced to the mother immediately or not after delivery. It is absolutely okay to start with non-veg foods also, but initially you can start with soups, and later you can go ahead and have curries of non-veg foods can be absolutely taken. So as a new mother, one more thing that normally happens is having a constipation issues. So for that, definitely two things helps a lot. First thing is you have to be hydrated throughout the day. And next thing is you have to take, adequate amount of vegetables and fruits in your daily diet. So make sure that at least 3 to 4 servings of vegetables, one serving of green leafy vegetables has to be introduced in your daily diet. These two things really helps a lot. So thank you everyone.